Hello, welcome to the Invest in Value channel. I am Victor, and in this video, I am going to look at investing in a vacation rental in beautiful Big Bear Lake, California. I have a lot of experience in that area. I've owned cabins up there for more than 10 years and rented them out in a vacation rental model. So I've got some details to share and evaluation to show you as an example of what you could expect as a return if you invested in a vacation rental up there. Before I jump into the analysis, do me a big favor and like my video, consider subscribing to my channel and hit that bell if you'd like notifications. Now, let me tell you more about Big Bear and the property that I'm gonna focus in on. First, the prices range. I'm gonna use a 3-bedroom, 2 to 3 bath cabin in the example I'm gonna show. The properties that I saw that were up there for sale range from $867,000 to $1,023,000. What I'll do is I'll take the middle point of those two ranges. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Big Bear. Big Bear is a good winter, destination for travelers. You can go skiing, snowboarding, play in the snow, go sledding, have a lot of fun in the snow. In the summer, they have a nice lake, so you can go boating, you can play on the lake, you can go hiking, mountain biking, do a lot of things outdoor. Big Bear Lake, it really welcomes travelers, a lot of nice restaurants, a lot of nice things to do. And there's about 18 million people in Southern California that are located within a 2.5-3 hour drive from Big Bear Lake. So a lot of people could take advantage of this alpine area. Big Bear is getting ready for their late spring, early summer activities. And if you visit their website, you can see all the things there is to do in Big Bear. They have a really nice website at bigbear.com. They also help you find a cabin if you're looking for one, but the most popular ways to book a cabin are Airbnb is probably 80-90%, market share. And then VRBO, Flipkey, and Booking are also ways to get a cabin in Big Bear. You're potentially an investor, so those are the places where you would put your cabin up for rent. So overall, Big Bear has four-wheeling concerts, you have fishing derbies. They have a really nice air show in the summer. So they have a lot of fun things to plan a trip around. And again, the Big Bear area really welcomes travelers. Let me take you through a valuation of a 3-bedroom vacation rental cabin up in Big Bear Lake. I used somewhat of an average of the cabins that I saw listed in Big Bear Lake. I took about 7 cabins that were listed and pretty much averaged it out. And I came up with a $945,150 average price. So if you look up there, you're going to see properties right around that price, some a little bit more, some a little bit less. And I think it's a good price to use as an example. And the conclusion, I'll start with the conclusion first, which is based on all the costs and everything involved. I'm seeing that if you bought a cabin up in Big Bear Lake and sold it after 5 years, either as a plan or you had to, you're going to lose basically 20% per year, which is a big loss. A lot of expenses buying a property, and vacation rentals come with a lot of operating costs as well. So you don't have a lot of years to get appreciation in this cabin. And I expect that for the next couple of years, we're probably going to have down prices as opposed to prices going up. And I'll take you through that in a minute. But if you kept the cabin for 10 years, you would get a small return of 6%. So after 10 years, 6% internal rate of return per year. And then 20 years, a little bit better at 10%. Then after 30 years, you'd have a 7% rate of return. These are not great returns. And I would say that the reason for that is prices for properties are so high. Interest rates have gone up. And really the operating expense of vacation rentals, it certainly was a learning experience for me when I started vacation rentals or owning vacation rentals 10 years ago. The amount of expense that is involved in operating a vacation rental, as well as the amount of time it takes and frankly, the amount of worrying that you have over your property to make sure somebody doesn't wreck your home. All right, so let's look at the 5-year model. First, here's the 5-year model. It takes into account, your purchase price. It takes, I'm expecting that this type of cabin is going to do about $45,000 in rent. You can argue and say, oh, I can do 50. Okay. If you work really hard at it, you could. but you might be less than that, less than 45. You might be at 40. That's a good number. Our cabin, 3-bedroom, it did about 60,000 in 2021. And in 2020, it did probably about 50,000. And those were 2 epic years. And it's expected that rates are going to go down. The number of nights that are going to be booked are going to go down. So 45 is a pretty good number in my mind. Your down payment, comes out in year 1. You got, typically investor loans, 25% down. You'd be having some purchasing expenses, maybe a point on your loan along with everything else in an escrow. Then you'd have interest cost in year 1. And I have a full amortization schedule below that adds up all the interest that you're paying on a loan of this amount. Property taxes on that purchase amount would be almost $12,000. Utilities, you're paying for gas, electric, cable, water, and especially in the winter, it really adds up fast. It's amazing how much heat a cabin needs when it's super cold outside in the mountains. So it uses a lot of electricity and some gas. So keep that in mind that you're paying utilities when you have a vacation rental. You're operating a little hotel, so you have to provide everything to that traveler. Along with those lines, supplies. So you're providing everything in the kitchen that's a consumable, napkins, the things that somebody would need to basically stay there. They bring their food, but they cook it in your kitchen. They use all your stuff and then have a good time. You're providing the towels, linen, throw pillows on a couch, pillows on a bed, the linens and so forth. Those things add up, and it was incredible how much stuff we had to buy on a constant basis. Maintenance, a lot of maintenance on your vacation rental because you have travelers that are coming through and usually banging the walls and breaking things. Barbecues had to be replaced, every 2 years, maybe every 3 years. Just a lot of things were broken and had to be replaced. Insurance cost up in the mountains, specifically to Big Bear Lake. It's difficult to get insurance because it's a high fire area. So insurance companies kind of shied away from Big Bear. But overall, the expense of having full insurance and the liability insurance that we wanted to have was up there. It was $3,200 in 2021. So be careful with that. In an area where you're looking to buy a vacation rental, if it's a mountainous area, especially in California, the insurance is probably going to be pretty expensive. So as you can see, year 1 has a pretty big capital outlay along with some expenses, almost $280,000 to get started. That's a big amount. That's why it's really hard to make any money in 5 years. If you walk away from a property like this, you're going to take a big hit. Year 1 is a big, negative from regards to cash flow, but year 2 is also negative with regard to cash flow. And it's mainly because you have such high interest right now with that high interest rate. You have high taxes because your purchase, amount is pretty high. And then you have all these expenses to go along with the vacation rental. So you're not cash positive any year. And again, you end up with a really big loss in the first 5 years. The 10-year model, it's taking everything you saw in the 5-year, but adding 5 additional years. And the good news there is that you're beginning to see greater appreciation. I assumed that the appreciation, let me go back to a couple of the variables here. I assumed that the appreciation in year 2 and 3 would actually be negative. I'm expecting properties are going to go down in value in those 2 years, 7%. And then after that, they're going to go up by the traditional amount that they would gone them up. And the average is 5.4 that real estate goes up per year. And I use that amount for all years. So that's where you're seeing appreciation on this line. You see how it's negative the first 3 years here, but then it becomes positive. And when you look at the 10-year model, 20 and 30-year models, that appreciation is where you start making money because it's pretty much giving you more equity in the property that you own. And over time, that equity just keeps growing. It's tax-free. And that's the nice thing about real estate is that all that appreciation is tax-free until you recognize the gain. So the 10-year model looks a little better because of that appreciation line. 20-year model looks better because of the appreciation line again, but the expenses are pretty much consistent with what you saw. And then the 30-year model. So just to recap, not a great investment. First 5 years, you're in the red. You have to wait 10 years, to really get a rate of return. And it's not a great rate of return, 6%. If you look at my other videos, there's a a bond. It's an inflation protected bond issued out by the government. It's considered a risk-free bond. It pays 9.62%, and that's risk-free. There's no capital outlay. It's a lot easier to get in, a lot easier to get out. You can get a rate of return much better than 6%, and you don't have to commit for 10 years. Okay, let me summarize the 3-bedroom cabin investment that you'd use as a vacation rental up in Big Bear Lake. Past performance, the demand for short-term rentals up in Big Bear Lake, it was incredible in 2020 and 2021. COVID, caused people to not want to fly. So with 18 million or so people in Southern California, everybody wanted a staycation, and it was very convenient for people to go to Big Bear Lake and spend a weekend or go up there midweek, since everybody is working from home, and kids could take classes online, which is what they were mandated to do. So the demand for short-term rentals just went off the charts in 2020, 2021. Inventory is very low. Interest rates were very low as well. So it was just a really nice situation for property owners up in Big Bear Lake. And the values of cabins and properties appreciated very fast, and they've gone up since 2012 when I began to invest in Big Bear Lake in 2012, and had seen properties go up each year. In 2020, conditions will change. The demand is down in 2020. They have data out that show that there's fewer nights that are being booked, some a little bit over 25%, and the rate per night being charged has gone down as well. So we're going back to levels that are like 2018, 2019 levels. So that will bring down the amount of revenue that vacation rental operators would take in. There's more properties now being listed in Big Bear Lake, meaning there's more people that bought properties, put them out for rent. So there'll be more people wanting or taking a slice of the pie. So as a property owner, you'll just have more owners to compete with for the available travelers, and you may have to lower your rates to get your cabin booked. Interest rates have gone up a lot. So they've gone up 40% year to date, and that just makes monthly payments higher and adds to the cost. And more importantly, who's going to be the next wave of buyers? It'll be more challenging for those buyers to buy a cabin in Big Bear, and that's something to keep in mind. My outlook, really, there's no gains if you invest within the next 5 to 7 years. At best, you'd break even, and if you invest for 2, 3, 4 years, you're going to lose money. So you'll have to hold for a long time. If you love Big Bear Lake, would love to own a cabin there for the next 20 years, go for it. If you are strictly looking at this as an investment and you want a high rate of return, I would say, look around, because there's probably other asset classes that would probably do better than the return you'd get from real estate up in Big Bear Lake that would be used for a vacation rental. The next 2 years are super risky. We're already seeing a turn up in Big Bear. There's also one thing that I didn't know is the city of Big Bear Lake, the residents didn't like the crowds that, especially during COVID, the crowdy streets, the litter, the noise. Some vacation rental properties have parties going on. All that undesirable aspect of vacation rentals has driven the residents to put up a ordinance or put up an ordinance for a vote. I believe it's going to go up for vote this November, that could either limit or restrict vacation rentals. So if you're going to invest up in Big Bear, please take a look at that. Make sure you understand it, because there may come a time, like in Anaheim, California, that they put a restriction on vacation rentals and or eliminate them. Now that I don't think will ever happen in Big Bear Lake, but it happened in Anaheim. It started with restrictions, and now in Anaheim, California, it is not allowed to have vacation rentals. Overall, my outlook is I'm a seller. And again, we sold the cabin in beginning of March. We decided to exit Big Bear Lake. It was a great run. People are wonderful in Big Bear Lake. We had a lot of good partners there, and wish them well. And we will continue to visit Big Bear Lake. and we'll continue to rent out cabins, but we will not be investors in Big Bear Lake until conditions changed quite a bit. So thanks so much for watching my video. My videos are for entertainment purposes only. I'm not recommending that you invest in any type of real estate, stock, security, or asset. I like sharing my experiences, and I hope you found it interesting. So thanks again. Please like my video, subscribe to my channel, consider clicking that bell to be notified when I create new videos, and let me wish you the best of success in investing in 2022.